The stage has been set. We can believe great change is about to come. Even though the divine name of God is absent from this story, Esther and Mordecai have been granted an opportunity to serve in the king's court, to be near the seat of human authority and power. But they must wait. Even though Esther had been selected for the beauty contest of the king, even though she had been welcomed into the harem and is being looked after by Haggai, the king's eunuch, we're still told the time had to be just right. Esther had to wait, but her time would not be wasted. Verses 12 to 15. Before a young woman's turn came to go into King Xerxes, she had to complete 12 months of beauty treatments prescribed for the women, 6 months with oil of myrrh and 6 with perfumes and cosmetics. And this is how she would go to the king. Anything she wanted was given to her to take with her from the harem to the king's palace. When the turn came for Esther to go to the king, she asked for nothing other than what Haggai, the king's eunuch, who was in charge of the harem, suggested. And Esther won the favor of everyone who saw her. Even though Esther had to keep her nationality and true citizenship a secret, even though Esther, like all the other women, was selected for little more than her physical appearance, even though Esther had to wait 12 months in order to receive every possible beauty treatment known throughout the Persian Empire, her time was not wasted. For she won the favor of everyone who saw her, everyone who knew her or interacted with her. This is the first description of Esther. This is the very first articulation of her character. She won everyone's favor. Just think about that for a moment. In the midst of a system, a cultural construct in which women are not empowered but are objectified and owned, in the midst of a patriarchal social norm in which weak-minded men fear the collective response of housewives refusing to submit, in the midst of such oppression and injustice, we encounter Esther. We're introduced to Hadassah. Innocent, intelligent, full of integrity. In the face of empirical pressures and persuasions, Esther's true character is revealed. And as a result, not only does she win the favor of the citadel, but she is also granted the favor of the king. Verses 17 to 18. Now the king loved Esther more than all the other women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins. So he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. And the king gave a great banquet, Esther's banquet, for all his nobles and officials. He proclaimed a holiday throughout the provinces and distributed gifts with royal liberality. From a servant's adopted daughter to a royal union with the king, from a story of exile and displacement to the throne room of authority and influence. And not only that, but we're told that Esther received grace, favor, and even love. And given the setting and circumstance, speaking of love might sound silly or insignificant, but I don't think it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, this ain't no rom-com. But I do think the author and spirit of this story intends for us to see something greater at work here. You see, because we're told that the king loved Esther more than all the others. And this is no small detail, because this is a man who could have and does have everything. I mean, throughout his life, Xerxes' every pleasure and impulse had been fulfilled. Anything he wanted, anyone he lusted for, had been given to him. And yet, when he meets Esther, when her true character is revealed, something unexpected occurs. I mean, at first, she's just another concubine, just another slave and object of his desire. But when they speak, when they're together, when they're intimate, the king feels and experiences something more, something greater. Maybe for the first time in his life, this prince of Persia experiences love. And the word here is significant, because there are multiple words for love in the Hebrew language, and yet here, In this setting and circumstance, in the exchange and experience shared between Esther and Xerxes, the Hebrew word ahav is used to describe their union. Ahav, which is a word that means the love of the soul, a word that describes intimate knowledge and trust of another, a word that means more than friendship, more than a strong bond, for ahav is the love and union of souls. This is the word. This is the love that Xerxes feels and shares with Esther. A love that is all-consuming, wholly other, and even divine. A love and union that suggests maybe more could come from this. You see, because even when we find ourselves in demeaning and devastating and dark settings or circumstances such as this, even when oppression and injustice surrounds us and has infiltrated our lives, what the story of Esther teaches us is that even then, even here, love will find a way. And where there is love, there is hope. Hope for change. Hope for a new day and a better tomorrow. You see, because love is no small detail. Love is powerful. Even when the name of God is omitted in our story, love reveals for us the presence and the power of the divine.
Next time on Esther in Isolation. So before we flash forward, we need to know Mordecai saved the king's life. 2 of Xerxes' own men were plotting to kill the king. Does the king express his gratitude for the loyalty and responsibility of this servant or slave? Well...